There we go. Yes, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, I think I messed up a little bit there with my audio, but here we go. Welcome to the Surrounded by Details podcast with me, Stevo. I am your host. In case you cannot hear me, please type a message in the live chat so I know. But hey, that doesn't make sense, because if you can't hear me, you couldn't hear that I just called out for that. I hope everything is out and running now. However, thank you so much for tuning in. I will repeat one more time what I just said, because I think I screwed up the audio there a little bit. So once again, a big thank you to my audience who was so kind to be interactive and gave me all that awesome feedback from last week when we talked to Rich Franklin, the vice president of the One Championship promotion, and of course also Chris Penn and from Chris and G Travels, an American couple that was visiting my hostel in Laos in 2013. So thank you for all the lovely feedback, and as always, you can give me all your feedback, let it be good or bad. We don't care, because we always want to develop, and for that we need your interaction and your feedback. So we have a live chat going on here on the right side, and you can type everything you want in there, and I will decide if it's needed for this conversation that we are about to have, or if it's not needed. However, what are we gonna do today? We're gonna talk to JR Crisologo from the Lions Head Boxing Gym and Athlete Development. I don't know how many times I said this, because as I just mentioned, we had a bunch of audio problems or issues at the beginning of this episode and at the beginning of this live stream. So I hope we can slowly settle back and settle into this conversation. I'm about to call him up, see what he is up to. He actually asked me if it was allowed to swear on the podcast, and with that being said, fuck yeah, you are, but we don't do this in order to swear on the World Wide Web. We do this in order to find out who this guy is. I got to know him a few months back. I think it was in May or April. Not too long actually, and he was having an event at his gym, and I was taking a couple of photos, and it was a lovely atmosphere, and he was just a cool dude, busy of course, so we didn't have too much time to talk, but I follow his social media, and it turns out he's a Elon Musk fan. Or not fan, but he's reading his book, and I thought that would be interesting, and I just like his work in general with the new generation of fighters coming up here out of Bangkok. So I thought, hey, we gotta get you on the podcast. It is time to talk, my friend. And I lose myself. I was about to call him up. There we go. We should have a signal here. In a few... There we go.
Hello?
Hello.
What up?
Can you hear me, Chris?
I can hear you, man.
That's awesome. I can hear you too. How are you, my friend?
Good. Chilling, man. Day off, you know how it is. Just taking it easy. Been a long past week, so, time to rejuvenate.
Can I ask you a question? Are you using a headset?
No, not right now. But I'm not even sure if I have one. Hold on.
No, I'm just asking because you sound a little bit distant, so I was just wondering.
Oh, no, I had the phone a little bit placed, away from me, but how about now? Is this better?
It's better. I just turn up the volume on your end a little bit, and the audience should hear you just fine.
Okay, cool.
You said it's Tuesday, and you said it's a day off.
It is my day off, that's correct.
Okay, because as a photographer in the fight world, normally people take off on a Sunday. Why are you free on a Tuesday? What's going on?
Oh man, weekends is impossible for us to take a day off, because that's when everybody has a break and they want to come through and train. So it's impossible for us to take a day off on the weekends. Also on Sundays, we keep it half day, because I want to maintain that the family day kind of thing after work, and get to spend a little quality time with our families. And Tuesday is mostly for me and Gene, so and Rocky as well, so we can have a little rejuvenation time, get back on the things that we want to do. And that's in the middle of the week, there's nothing going on, so we go out somewhere, the whole place is empty, the whole place is is to us, man, so it's a beautiful thing.
That's actually a great idea. Why didn't I figure that out a little bit earlier?
Exactly, because before we actually did weekends for breaks, right? But man, it was too stressy. I mean, you were already tired from the week. We had to walk around bumping with a lot of people. I'm not really that kind of dude that want to walk around, share my time with everybody else. So I kind of want to just, keep it real nice and chilled.
Hmm.
So Tuesday is the best day. Like there's nothing going on, or hardly nothing going on. And wherever we go, we get the best seats, we get the best spots, and that's just how it is, man.
That's such a smart idea. And here I am, waking up at 5:30 in the morning, grinding my ass, running in the park, doing workouts, and the pros, they just chill at home. How long do you normally sleep on a day like this? Because back in the days when it was school time and we had a day off, we were sleeping until we couldn't sleep anymore, basically until the afternoon. Are you still waking up early, or do you just say, fuck
Man.
everything, I sleep until I die?
I've been asked this question a couple of times, especially because I got sick about 2 weeks ago, and my doc was like, "How long are you sleeping?" I'm like, "Look, that's not the problem. The thing is, I've been so disciplined and just, I think it's my normal body clock now. My waking hour is 6:15 every single day. It don't matter if it's a Sunday, it don't matter if it's a Tuesday, it's our day off, it doesn't matter. 6:15 on the dot, I'm awake, I'm ready to take my first bathroom break, whatever, it's right there. I mean, sometimes I'll feel so well rested. You know what? Forget the well rested part, right? What I do sometimes on a Monday night, I'm okay, I got Tuesday off, so I'm gonna stay up late, whatever. Movie marathon, just chatting up with my girl. I sleep around 2:30, even 2:45 sometimes, right? I get to bed, I wake up, I open my eyes, and I'm hoping it's like 9 a.m., right? 9 a.m. is a far extension for me. I'd be happy to wake up at 9 a.m.
Mistake.
Yeah, I wake up the next day, and it's like 6:45. I was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, man, I know how that is. I have that in a clock. For me, it's around 6:30. But recently, I came up with a stupid idea that I want to feel like a Navy SEAL and wake up stupidly early in the morning. So I start to go in 30-minute sessions to 5:30. Then next week, I'm gonna make it 5, and then the week after that, I'm gonna make it 4:30, and then 4. Because I listen to a bunch of podcasts and.
Right.
I kind of heard from several spots that it's actually better to start your day off with a workout. And here are 2 questions at once for you. You told me you are a podcast newbie, and do you believe in early workouts?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I do. I mean, well, I used to be a football player. So back in high school, it was, it was like early work. I'm talking like we are up by, say, 4:30, we get a little bit of like food in, and by 4:45 we start stretches, we do conditioning work and all that. So yes, in a sense, I've been a big fan of it, but obviously throughout the years, depending on what kind of job I had, or I mean, I wasn't always in the boxing business. I used to promote clubs back in the day, so obviously I was up till the wee hours in the morning, and this was the time when the clubs were still open till 3 or 4. So that means we had to be there until that time, and then wait for the club to close down, get our pay or whatever. So by the time I hit the sack, it'd be like 5 o'clock. So that's impossible for me to work out early in the morning. But I also heard that. I mean, they said that working out on an empty stomach or doing your metabolic conditioning or your cardio is some of the is really best done early in the morning, and it gets that blood flow or your system charged up pretty early, and then you just feel light the rest of the day.
So true, and tired too.
Right. Yeah, it's tired too. But obviously, when you get the proper nutrients throughout the day, you feel recharged, you feel rejuvenated. But that's been the kind of like what do you call this? In a sense, I wouldn't call it a problem, but it's always like a give and take for me, because my first session is usually at 8. So that means that obviously you have to wake up extra early and all that, and I kind of want to reserve that 30 minutes of sleep, or 30 to 45, just so I can get a little bit more sleep, get my 8 hours in, and then start the day off. But yeah, man, I mean, if I wasn't doing what I was doing now, I'd still hit my training in the morning.
Yeah, man, that makes me feel good, and that makes me no, that doesn't make me anything, but it confirms my decision, because sometimes you have to make decisions and you're not really sure, is it right, is it not right, because there are so many people on the planet and so many people talk.
Oh yeah,
so
for
you
sure.
never really know what to go with, and that's basically what I want to talk to you about a little bit with you, because
Right.
you are the founder and the CEO, one more time for the people who haven't heard it until now, of the Lion's Head boxing gym
Right,
and
right. Well,
athlete
I wouldn't
development.
go so far as CEO, but yes, I'm the founder and head trainer of Lions Boxing BK Academy. Yes.
Mhm. But at the beginning of this conversation, you mentioned you haven't always been a boxing coach. You are actually from the Philippines, if I am not mistaken, correct?
Yes, but spent a lot of time, technically, but California raised, and then what do you call this? That's how I got the whole boxing thing going on.
Mhm.
Oakland, California, to be
So,
specific.
so how did you go back and forth? I mean, if you California kid, how did you come end up back here in Southeast Asia?
No, Southeast Asia was different, man. I mean, after I finished school, like it was one of those things that okay, there was nothing really much going on for me over there, and it was kind of like a difficult thing to get a job. And
Hmm.
my folks were out here, so I said, okay, you know what? Let's just see how things are over there. I mean, I wasn't planning on it. I said, let me give myself 3 months, right? Matter of fact, the first 3 months wasn't even like a plan to really move. Let's just see how it is. Take a vacation, whatever, and feel things out, right? Although I had in the back of my head, I already had that if it works out there, if I see an opportunity and I'm gonna grab it, I'm not really like so, okay, I got to be, I got to be here to make money. No, I move where I can make that dough. You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
yeah, and then 2009, late 2009, I touched down, and it was an original plan for a 3 month trip,
Hmm.
and man, 18 years later, we talking, right?
Yeah, that's what they always say. I just come here for vacation, and
Yeah,
then, as you
yeah.
say, 8 years later, you sit here and talk. It seems
But
quite.
I was,
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, I guess I was just kind of fortunate to meet a lot of, I mean, I've had my ups and downs, obviously. 18 years is a long time for a foreigner to be out in a different country, but, I'm fortunate also to meet a lot of very right people, if you know what I'm talking about. I
Hmm.
mean, I had some good connections, I had some good relationships with people, and that's what kind of just, opened the doors to where I am now.
Mm. Well,
Mhm.
I think it's for the people who stay long term or who make these things happen. It's always the same. It sounds so cliche and so boring, but it's really not. It's this field of energy that people have around themselves, and that's what separates us. And I say you and me, and I include a lot of other people or expats here in Southeast Asia, from the kind of people that come here for vacation and then go back home, because we don't want to sit at home and for, I don't know, 10 months, 11 months, sit and think about all this lovely vacation we had in Southeast Asia. We like it here, so we try to make it happen, and that's what
Right, right.
separates certain people from others. You got to work for what you really want in life, and once you figured that out, what you really want, you want to be in Thailand, you want to start your own thing. How did the whole boxing thing develop around you?
All right, well, it's like this. Well, before the whole boxing thing, I was actually playing basketball. I mean, I used to play for different teams, nothing major.
Mhm.
I was scouted by the Adidas streetball team back in 2000. I'm not sure if it was 2003, 2004.
Mhm.
And so they had me in a little gig with a couple of my friends, just playing around because we knew, I mean, that was when street ball was really blowing up. I'm not sure if you've seen what I'm talking about, but they do the tricks. There's no violations. You can bump them off like people's heads. You can
Yeah.
hide it under your shirt type of thing. So that was blowing up around that time. And, back then I had the skills for it. And, they took notice in one of the streetball competitions that was happening in between Siam Square and Discovery. There's this
Mhm.
little like space out there where they put up some rims, and I think that during the summertime, and yeah, so they had it over there. They got some good sponsors too,
That's
and
interesting, man. I didn't know that. You're not that
yeah,
tall
yeah,
person either.
man. I used to get down on the courts, and so basically that was what that was kind of what led to everything, and I had people that I was like doing some strength conditioning with, which I was still very familiar from my football days. So I
Mm.
just kind of applied it with that, and then I started, kind of like working out with them. And years passed, basically, like I didn't leave basketball. It's just a matter of, I wanted to kind of be on the coaching side of things.
Mm.
So I was working at this one school around 2007, and I
Mm.
was I was coaching the junior boys team and the senior girls team, and yeah, so that was the first. I think that was kind of like the first blow up in a sense that they knew I knew how to train, strength and conditioning,
Mm.
basketball, and all that kind of stuff, right?
Mm.
And then you know, year two passes, and I I I formed my first basketball clinic and conditioning business. It was called Ball Up at that time.
Mm.
Such as the term ball up, if you're ready to play, hey, ball up, you know what I'm saying? Let's get down.
Yeah, just to
So,
interrupt you real quick, just the idea that just popped up in my head. If I would ever have a basketball school, I would call it I Got Balls. Mm. That's
that is
probably.
fucking smart, brother. Hey, man, now you think about it, anybody who come up with that name out there, I got major respect for you, for sure. I got balls. Hey, you know what? Hey, because, you got balls to take on people, and then, yeah, I mean, I think it's a double, multi-purpose kind of like name. But,
That's what you need.
yeah,
Mm.
man.
Keep going. Sorry to
So,
interrupt.
no, it's all good. So yeah, I started off with Ball Up. I
Mm.
was actually doing with my homeboy Gianluca, who's now also the owner of All Day Tattoo down there at Prom Prom. I used to do it with him, right?
Mm.
And we had a bunch of students from Bangkok University, from Rumcomhang Advent International School. We get together, like on the weekends, and we'll just train. And that's how I started off a little bit more on the training part.
Mm.
And I had an accident, right? So I was playing with them. I was an active head coach, so I was playing at the same time. But when we had a game down at what was that? Thai Chinese International down in Bang Nam. And that particular day, they had the court freshly waxed.
Oy.
Yeah, and it was pouring hard, right? And
Mm.
then they had a leak on the roof.
Ah, that
So
sucks.
yeah, we were doing our warm ups, and all of a sudden I did a little pivot off my left foot, and all of a sudden, bang! I hear this sound, this popping sound. I thought somebody landed on my ankle,
Mm.
and it felt like there's a baseball bat that just hammered my ankle down. So I go down. I couldn't play. Turns out it was a torn Achilles, and I was out.
Damn. That sucks,
So now
especially as an athlete,
basically,
man.
yeah, like a year in recovery after that.
Mm.
To keep it short, I couldn't train much people anymore because I couldn't jump. I couldn't even play anymore.
Mm.
So I was looking for a way for me even to train without having to like jump or do so much impact. So I thought, okay, you know what? Let's do boxing. All right, let's go back to boxing. I used to train it, and I gave it to my clients too. I
Mm.
started holding the pads for them, and they really enjoyed it.
Mm. So what?
And
Yeah, keep going.
yeah, go ahead.
No, me it's just asking because that switch, if you really would have, it sounds very wrong, but if you would have made boxing your first choice, it would have been your first choice. How long did the transition take you to realize for your mind, okay, basketball is not gonna be anymore, boxing is my new thing? Because
Oh,
it's not happening from today to tomorrow. I can imagine it's
yeah,
a period. How
man.
long did
No,
it
no,
take you?
not at all. I mean, I love basketball to death. Like, the, it's funny because I had friends who wanted to go out, like the opportunities for even like for women to go out with, but I turned them all down because I was in the courts.
Mm.
I was there until midnight. So it was one of the things that I really love to do, and I always want to be a part, have a big part on in my life. And transitioning to boxing and literally just scraping basketball off almost completely was one of the hardest things for me to do.
I can imagine that, man.
It psychologically fucked me up in a sense that one of the sports that I've always loved to do in the first place is something that I cannot possibly do now or even make money off, or whatever the case may be. But you get older, you thump your chest twice, you bang your head a little bit, and you tell yourself, look, you got to eat, you got to do something about it. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't just kind of marinate on something that's not working.
But I have that feeling with a lot of MMA fighters or fighters in general. They come back when they're like 40, 42, 43. I think it's mostly because they don't really know what to do with themselves after their career finished.
Yes. Hey, you know what? Let's make Roy Jones the biggest example of that. The man has thrown his hands ever since he was what? I'm talking 12, 11? And he's been there. A lot of people, look, I'll tell you something. I haven't been in the business that long, but now I have a better understanding that if you've done something so long, especially boxing in a sense, or anything that has to do with fighting, it's hard to quit. It really is.
Yeah, because it becomes part of yourself. It's basically defining you as a person, who you are. And I think that's where the struggle is for most of the fighters, to realize who you are without competing or without fighting.
Exactly. It has shaped their everyday. It's it's their skin. It's pretty much their skin. Like it's so. I actually had quite a long status. I wrote a status on my Facebook not so long ago about something in the sense that there's always two sides. Like a lot of people would never understand why people why a lot of people would want to get into the fight business in the first place when they know it's hard. It could be violent. It's hurtful. People die. They get swindled for the money. It's corrupted. And then they also ask why people can't get out of it.
Yeah, and why is that? Because
it's there. You should, we were just talking about it.
Yeah.
It's part of their system. It's in their skin. It's in their DNA.
So how long do you see yourself doing this whole boxing thing with your boxing academy?
Man.
Because you're going to be in the same position at one beautiful day.
Yes. Hey, but you know what's crazy though, man? I'm gonna admit something to you and to a lot of the whoever's listening right now. I think I should keep it real to everybody. Look, I don't wake up every single day fucking seeing rainbows and unicorns with the whole Lionshead business. No, hell no. I'll be the biggest liar if I tell you that. Ask my girl. This is me sometimes. I just get home, or I'm just like, I wake up, son. I'm like, y'all know what? Fuck Lionshead. I ain't going to that shit today. No. Seriously, bro, it drains me sometimes.
Yeah, but that's what people always underestimate with people who have their own business, or in my case, who are freelancing. They think we are living the dream, which we are. But at the same time, it's constantly going on in your mind. You cannot shut it off. It's constantly there. You have to deal with all this financial shit. You have to deal with all the drama that's going on. And you are in boxing, man. I can imagine there's loads of drama going on.
I think
different gyms, different fighters.
People has a misconception of having, you know what, you own your own business, you wake up on your own time, you don't have to wear you can wear whatever you want. Yes, you know what, I am blessed to have that freedom, but it doesn't make my job any easier. But let me tell you guys why. The physical part of it is not really something that I bitch about now. No, that's a while ago. I was pulling 13-hour training days, to make a name for myself back in the days. That's nothing. I can pull that off. The most tiring, most exhausting part is to having to deal with the emotions, or the roller coaster of emotions of different people on a daily basis.
I've never thought about this. That's so true.
Think about it like this. I'm gonna give you a little thought, right? Everybody out there. So say, for example, I have 5 different clients, correct? And I know each client by their character or their daily attitude. This dude is always happy. This dude is he likes to act tough, whatever. this dude is funny, this dude is crazy, so on and so forth. Now, say for example, each and every person, the first week, they all are the same. They're true to themselves. They do what they do, right? But then that's not constant. We are humans, which means that you will have bad days. So now I'm here waiting for my next dude, who I think is the happy dude, and I'm all hyped up and whatnot because I see him and we're going to talk something funny, and he comes in and he's not feeling the day.
Yeah, his girl broke up and he has him having a bad day, man. You're
Whatever.
kind of a
He
therapist.
has financial problems, whatever. And now my fucking emotions just crashed down. Dude, it is serious. This is real shit. I come home and I figure, I'm like, why am I so tired? I mean, I've handled this thing. I can do this. This is physically not a problem for me. I accept that, but I'm like, why am I extra tired?
Yeah.
It took me a while to realize that that's what it was.
But let me ask you a question here, because when you finish your day at the end of the day, where do you make a cut between you and how much you get involved with your clients or your athlete? Because that's what it seems to be for me always when I watch fighting or when I see people like you when you were having your event, King of Pride, and other coaches. It's always that relationship father and kid. It's not always coach and fighter. It's mostly father and kid. Where do you draw the line and say, hey, listen, I cannot go any further into your private life because I have my life too? Where do you draw the line?
You know, Steve, this is one question that I've been asking myself, like more so for the past year and a half, I think, because it's beginning to, before it was just like, you know what, I'm not trying to get involved with y'all, but then you sometimes find that getting a little bit more involved helps you understand the person a little bit more, which makes training a little bit more, in a sense, easier.
Yeah.
But then, if you were asking me right now as far as where the line should be or where I draw the line, I'll tell you my most honest answer. I do not know as far now is concerned. Because one of my clients put it the best way. He said, or the dad of my client said, hey, you know what? You cannot just be a boxing coach. You are sidelining, you are subconsciously sidelining another job, which is a psychiatrist.
Yeah, I can totally see that, because when you're a young kid training, for example, you always look up to certain people, you know, and you kind of become a role model at the same time, hashtag not a native English speaker, complicated word, psychiatrist. No, what was it? However, we all know what I mean.
Right.
And yeah, it's a bunch of roads you are taking in there. I can really understand that this becomes too much at some point.
Hey, but you know what though? You got to also specify that in a sense that only applies to the coaches who takes their fucking job seriously. And when I say seriously, they know that there is a life and safety at stake on what they do. Because we're not the ones getting in the ring.
Yeah, that's true.
It is our job to make sure that this person has a long career, that he doesn't get hurt as much as you know, whatever, you know, but we're just trying to minimize the damage factor as much as possible. And as much as that's pressure to the fighter, in a sense, that's a lot more to us because that blood is in our hands.
Do you regret certain decisions sometimes when you, for example, agree to a bad matchup where you didn't really think it through and then it turns out it wasn't really a good matchup? My athlete was not ready for this. Does that ever happen to you?
No, fuck no. I'm sorry. I mean, one of the things. No, look, I'm not carrying my own bench on this one. No, but going back to what I just said earlier, that I have to think about this thing like it's always a life and death situation. Yeah. This is not a game. We all know you can't play boxing. You can't play MMA.
Yeah, it's for real. There's kind of no in between, like in soccer or in basketball.
No, you can't do that. You got to understand. That's why I had this long fucking status bashing on fucking these stupid coaches that they think they're coach. Look, I love what I do, and I put myself in what I do every single day. People can judge me for saying, "Oh, you shouldn't be talking shit about other coaches." No, I'm not talking shit. I'm being realistic when I say that coaches need to look into the whole situation before they even think of putting their own fighter in that situation or that other fighter.
Yeah, I think people
not for the entertainment. Sorry, go on.
I think people often mix up two things. It's talking bullshit or talking shit about other people and just giving your opinion. Because when people don't like other people's opinion, they just often take it as talking shit just because they don't like it. So people have to realize that is actually two different things. And you gotta have your opinion. And that's how you develop the game, not to be just another coach, by actually setting standards and putting out there what you think is right and what you think is wrong. And again, it's also for the development of the sport and other coaches. You need to do that. It's your duty as a good coach, I think.
It's nothing. Look, I'm still in a sense, I'm still a young dude in the game. I've only been doing it for 8 years, but
how old are you?
I'm 36. I'm turning 36 next month.
Okay. August child. Okay.
Right. So basically, I look up to a lot of people when it comes to coaching, but I'm also trying my best to make sure that nobody gets hurt because of a person that he thinks he's a coach, but what he is really is just he's looking for somebody to go into his event so he can entertain them or whatever the case may be. And I've seen that a lot. Oh, hey, you're training for 3 weeks. You seem good and whatnot. Hey, you want to fight? Come on, man.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, this sounds very wrong, but you always have to see both perspectives. And at the end of the day, who knows what goes through that coach's head? Because his gym is not making the money and he just needs to entertain people with an event. There's always not saying that this is right in any way, but there's so many factors that play into actually running an event and running a successful boxing school. And of all people, you should know, because you started from the very bottom. As I know, correct me if I'm wrong, with 1,800 baht, if I'm not mistaken. That's pretty far down, and made your way all the way up. So you should know that there's different reasons why people do things, and sometimes people are just stupid and don't think things through.
No, look, I ain't trying to knock nobody's hustle. That's number one. I got to let people know that I'm not trying to knock nobody's hustle, because I was once at a point where I didn't think I would make it to. But one thing that I had that I try not to break up until now is my integrity and my morals when it comes to the sport.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. You need morals.
Yeah,
that's nicely put.
It's like this, right? Let me break it down, a quick breakdown of how I used to do it when I was running in my little moped, putting down 13 hours a day, whatever.
Just for the audience, before you continue here, when you say your little moped, for the people who are listening and haven't met JR, he's actually a dude with a big beard and loads of tattoos. So imagining him on a small moped is actually quite funny thought.
Oh, shit.
We need photos of that.
A little small, but hey, that got me through like 2 good years, yo. That's how I made 42 clients and had the confidence to open up Lion's Head. That's crazy, right? So, okay, it's like this. So I'm pulling 13-hour days, right? Yeah. And I give myself an hour and a half break every single day. If you think about it, a 13-hour physical labor work and an hour and a half break is very irrational in a sense, because you're doing this 6 days a week, you're going to burn yourself out, whatever, right? But in that hour and a half, they think, you know what, JR's probably just sleeping or whatever. No, you know what? I forgot about sleep, because I would just sit down without anything else, no phone, no nothing. I would just enjoy and savor my meal. That's the first thing. Yeah. Family values, respect the meal, respect the blessing, all that, right? That hour. Sorry?
No, go ahead.
That next hour, I have the opportunity to sleep. I can just do a quick shut-eye, whatever the case may be. You know what? But I don't. I study. Every single day, I study about the sport. I study about the intricacies of boxing, the history of it, the progress, the journey, everything. Because,
but does that really keep your head from what you do? Because you keep on going with the same subject. Well, I mean, what do you do next to boxing to get your head off, not just only enjoying your meal, but also other things? I've seen you've been reading about Elon Musk, but when you say you take an hour and a half off your work and then you read and educate yourself about boxing, it's still boxing.
Yeah. Well, the thing, I'm a firm believer of the 10,000 hour rule. What
does that mean?
The 10,000 hour rule is I wouldn't say it's a complete fact, but you have this part of your brain called the myelin.
Yeah.
And myelin is what teaches you or what stores the skill that you perform every single time. In order for you to master a particular skill, you need to put in your 10,000 hours.
Okay.
So, I'm sure some people has heard about it. And I'm not saying that I put in 10,000 hours to that extent. Maybe I have. Who knows? It's been 8 years. But I made sure that I soaked myself into the subject. Yes, it wasn't fun. I'm not saying it was all fun and, it was always all fun. Like, there's times when I'm just like, okay, maybe I just need to take a break, whatever. But, for me, I had this like crazy, almost like an obsession, because it wasn't because I was doing it for myself only. It was because I knew I was new to the game and I had major competition.
Yeah, and you have a certain responsibility towards your clients.
I'll tell you something too. So I compared that system to what Mike Tyson used to do when he was training under Cus D'Amato. Tyson used to wake up at 4 a.m. to get his runs in. He had to run, right?
Yeah.
Matter of fact, he didn't need to wake up at 4. He could have woken up at 5, 5:30, 6. He could have still done his thing same way. But when he got asked, why are you jogging at 4 o'clock? You could have had another hour and a half of sleep. He said, it's not about the stamina. It's not about just that. It's about the psychological advantage that I had over my opponent.
And also over yourself, because your body tricks you a lot with, I can wait another hour. I don't need to do this now. Your body is fucked up. Your body and your mind is your biggest enemy. People always think it's other people or the weather, but you yourself are your biggest enemy, and especially your brain, the way you think.
You look in that mirror every single day and you're like, man, I'm gonna kick your ass today.
Well, I smile at myself in the morning to get a little bit better in the mood, but I have this one sentence. As soon as I doubt something, I ask myself a question. What else do I have to do? Nothing.
Yeah.
So just go ahead and fucking do it. # no excuses.
Right. No, man, I think a lot of people overcomplicate a lot of things nowadays. Like, because I sometimes feel like with one person, it's so, what's the term? In a sense, somebody's every day is so diluted with so many things that they can't focus on the things that they actually need to do.
It's because you are overflowed with information, and it starts with social media, and that's why so many people have an issue with actually being honest to themselves or being self-aware of themselves, because you start to compare yourself with other people. I wish I could be like that, or I wish I could do that. But by doing that, you automatically, unconsciously tell yourself, I'm not that good, I can't do that, I cannot do that, and all these negative thoughts then will bring you into that negative loop. It's very, very important to actually look at yourself in the morning and say, hey, today I'm going to be a successful person. And I was talking about that on my latest podcast with Chris Penn from Chris and G Travels. He told me about the 5-minute journal, or 5-minute diary, which he does every morning, where he types down a few things that he can influence that day. We're not talking about weather. We're talking about today I'm going to go out and run, or today I'm going to clean up the house, and I'm going to smile 5 minutes longer than I did yesterday. All this kind of stuff. And I do my thing, my 5-second rule in the morning. When I start to doubt, I just stand up immediately, because that's the first sign of that my mind is trying to overtake. Then I look at the fucking mirror, smile at myself, because that fires some happy thoughts in my brain, and then I go and do my shit, because as sooner as I do it, as sooner as I get it done. And if you waste your time with looking on Facebook, ah shit, he did it again and I didn't do it again, you just catch yourself in these moments of actually telling yourself you're not good enough or you can't do that. Instead, you should look the other way around, shut off your fucking laptop and your phone, and tell yourself, I'm worth it, I can do it.
How you put this together right now reminded me of a stand-up comedy from Cat Williams. Have you heard of Cat Williams?
What kind of question is that? Have I heard of Cat Williams?
Do you know which one I'm talking about? Do you know which skit I'm talking about, though?
Yeah, I kind of know.
There's a skit he did. It's called, be the star player of your own team.
Yeah. That's actually part of Pimp Chronicles, isn't it?
Yes, that was Pimp Chronicles, precisely.
Yeah.
Okay, my bad for questioning. Okay, but anyway, he goes, yo, you gotta be a fucking, you gotta act the star of your motherfucking team. He said, even if you gotta lie to yourself, like I wake up in the morning, I'm like, shit, I'm looking about 4'11" and a half today in the mirror. You're looking tall today. That cracked me up. But you know what? I love Cat Williams in a sense because he didn't just make jokes. He actually preached in a lot of ways too.
But that's the thing with comedians and stand-up comedians, and I'm a huge stand-up comedian fan. That's how I got into podcasting, because a lot of comedians use podcasting in order to get their things out there. But that's the thing, and it's a good thing, but at the same time it's a bad thing, because it makes me sad to see all these comedians make jokes about politics and the real bad things that are going on in the world, and people just laugh about it when it's actually sad that they laugh about it. But it's needed. You in the saddest moments, if you can't smile or laugh about things, then the bad energy won. And that's why I love stand-up comedians. And Cat Williams, for the people who don't know, considered to be one of the greatest out there. If you haven't seen it, YouTube, I don't think it's on YouTube actually, you have to Google a little bit more, but Pimp Chronicles, man, one of my favorite stand-up programs. And I totally agree.
Sure.
It's laughing, it's kind of saddening, but at the same time you need the perfect mix, like with everything in life. So take a little bit of sadness, take a little bit of happiness, and then mix it to get the best out of this. And this is why comedy is so beautiful, because it teaches you the value of life, to not take things too serious and try to see different perspectives.
Right. No, I mean, that's 100% right there what you just said, man. I think, just talking life in general, I think people have lost, in a sense, control over themselves, that they get affected so easily by what's around them. They kind of forget that, look, I'm still my own individual. I was born with a brain and a body and a heart, so I could do me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, but it's not so easy. It's not so easy for the human being today to realize that.
Not at all. I wouldn't say that. But my simple point is that, the reason why I'm saying this right now is so maybe we can get reminded that we are actually under control of ourselves. But maybe it's easier said than done nowadays. But I'm like, I don't know, man. I think I'm too simplistic for certain things. That, you know what? If I don't like it, I'm not doing it. It's kind of thing.
Yeah, that's exactly the
If I don't like you, man, I don't gotta fucking smile at you. You don't like me, that's not my problem.
Yeah, that's what I meant earlier. Now I came thinking of the sentence that I always tell people when they don't like what I say. It's like, listen, man, I'm only responsible for what I say, not for how you take it. It's up to you. And sometimes it's very hard to be that kind of person. I'm kind of from Berlin and Germany, and the city is very known for being rough and straightforward. And especially here, for me as a German dude in Asia, man, it has backfired to me so many times, because that is not how things work in Asia, and I had to find out the hard way.
Yeah, you gotta. Yeah, but I don't know. It goes both ways too. Like, say for example, like what you were saying earlier, that you are. I mean, nobody needs to be held accountable for your opinion but you. But can you imagine the amount of energy that somebody is putting over your opinion that will not matter to them whatsoever in the next 5 hours.
Yeah, but that's just because you get caught up. It's the same for you, man. I'm sure you have subjects where you get caught up and you just want to make your point and want maybe not prove the other person wrong, but you want to show them a different perspective. And then you turn around and grab a coffee and a cheesecake, and you were just what was I just talking about? What was that? I don't remember. And if you don't remember, then it couldn't be important enough.
Yeah, like nowadays I see I'm already in a business that needs confrontation almost every single day, okay? Mm. So for me to be confrontational on social media is not existent. I don't do that. I mean, I read, sometimes it's almost like an entertainment for me to read, a constant back and forth with the people. Sometimes I get asked by my friends, hey, did I say this right? I'm like, look, but hold up 1 second. Why are you asking for my opinion about your opinion? Because we're friends. It doesn't matter what I think. That is your opinion.
Yeah, but they want this confirmation of, yes, I did something right. I said something right. It's tricky, man. It's tricky.
It is tricky because they lose sense of what they were doing in the first place. The reason why you wrote that is because you want to voice yourself out or show the other person a different way. But say, for example, if I tell my homeboy, yo, man, I'm not really feeling what you're saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, yo, man, what the fuck? You're supposed to be on my side of this. When I'm like, hey, you shouldn't have showed me this shit in the first place, right?
Yeah. So, don't be afraid of the answer, man. Don't ask if you cannot take whatever response you get, because it might not always be what you expect. A lot of
people, people want to hear. People want you to tell them what they want to hear, but if you tell them what you really want to say and it's true, they're like, okay, maybe I'm not really ready for that. So,
oh man, that happened to me a bunch of times. I had to learn that too. I mean, we all do mistakes, and we don't sit here and say this because we have nothing better to do. We say this because we had the same lessons, or we learned the same lessons a little bit earlier, a little bit in a different way. And again, people, it's very hard to be honest to yourself and realize that you don't really know a shit. And by that, I include myself. I don't really know a fucking shit. And when you're a kid and you grow up and you think your parents know everything, oh boy, are you wrong. Your parents don't know a shit either. And that's what's so beautiful about this planet, because nobody has a clue what's going on, and everybody has experienced the same day for the very same time, for the very first time. That's what, once you realize that, man, life becomes so much easier.
Oh yeah, man. Like, look, I think my transition was, for me, maybe it was a little later, but I personally learned not to give a fuck about so many things at the age of 29.
Yeah, that
was a little late, all right? But you know what? I'm very happy. Like, I seriously freed myself from so much bullshit, and I could smile longer every single day. I'm just like, you know what? Whatever you say, I make this joke every single time in the gym. People like, hey, how do I call you? Do I call you JR, Coach, Mister? I'm like, man, you can fucking call me Samantha. I don't give a damn. If it makes me happy, call me Samantha. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta let it's once again easier said than done. But once you practice, everything is about practice.
Yeah.
You gotta practice and let go. You one in one ear, out the other. If you have 3 valves in your fucking heart. If you feel emotional about something, eject that shit on the other valve. Whatever the case may be.
Yeah, it's about how you handle things. And I was having a podcast last year, even longer than last year, with Victor Chui, the CEO of One Championship.
Of One Championship, right?
Yeah, and he told me that he's actually teaching his kids to fail, because everybody is gonna fail at some point, and it is not about that you actually failed, it's about how you come out of that. That is what forms you as a human being and who you are. So that is really important. Most people are afraid of failing, and it was the same for me back in school or with photography. I was really afraid of failing, and then I realized that everybody fails and everybody is going through a process until they figured out how to get over this fucking fence, because they tried to run right through it for 1,000,000 times and it didn't succeed. It's about the solution, not about the problem, and that's what you should always look forward to, the solution.
Yeah, Um, you know what? I don't really. I mean, I like putting stuff like that in my status because I like writing because I can go back to it. So I've had a few seminars when it comes to like, fighting and attitude and whatnot.
Mm.
And I tell these people that come, I said, look, I'm not judging nobody, but this is once again personal thing. I don't like the people that I wouldn't say I don't like that. Maybe that's going too far, but I don't see the people that takes their problem in a sense that, oh, they'd be, fucking drinking, they'd be drowning in drugs, I'm like, okay, look, we're all humans. We are all faced with problems regardless. It doesn't matter if you're a multi-billionaire or you're so poor. Everybody in between, everybody has problems.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I don't understand why people kept on fucking marinating on the problem. We already know what the problem is, right? Hey,
Yeah.
I don't have money for my rent.
Mm.
That shit ain't going to change.
Yeah, I could totally see where you're going, and I'm sorry to interrupt you here.
No,
but
go ahead.
I always say it's very easy to choose between doors when you know there are 5 doors in the room. But if you only know or only see one door, you don't know how to deal with certain things. If it's not taught by you, by your parents. I heard something today actually on the MMA Hour with Ariel Hawani. As I mentioned, I'm a podcast guru, and I don't remember who said it, but it's when you are getting mobbed as a kid, when other kids tease you and your parents tell you you got to defend yourself, but they never teach you how to defend yourself. How are you able of defending yourself? It just doesn't work. So I see why a lot of problems never get out of that circle, out of that negative circle, because they just don't know better.
They just don't know.
Yeah, and that's the responsibility of your parents, of your surroundings, of society, of school. I think this is where we need to improve as human beings by actually teaching kids or people in general that life changed a little bit. There is things we can influence, and it starts with how we control our mind. And this is what I feel today, because as you say, everybody grows older, and things are not the same way as they used to be in the 40s and 50s, and they told you milk is healthy and bread is healthy, and now you realize, hey, wait a second, milk is actually not that healthy and bread is not that healthy either. The truth is just about to being found out. You know what I mean? Society keeps on developing, and you cannot think to develop all the time and everything you do is right. You have to realize that at least half of the shit that you develop is not perfect, or it's completely wrong. And that doesn't matter if you're a human being or if you a complete society. It's the same shit over and over again. You need to realize that everybody is in a process of learning. And if you can tell people that, if people are not aware of that, then it's hard to understand why they keep doing this, or why they drown their sorrow in alcohol or other drugs.
Right,
it's very difficult, but it's frustrating too.
Right? Look, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I completely, 100,000% agree with you on that one. My only argument about the point it's not even an argument. My only kind of like addition on top of what you were saying just now is not necessarily about how people was taught by their parents or whoever around them. Okay, give you an instance, right? I had this homeboy before who was my friend, but not anymore because we fell off, whatever. So this dude is 31 years old. Regardless if you had parents or whatever, at 31 you think that somehow you'd have experiences already. Okay, he's worked, he's already worked and whatnot. He's always been broke. Like I see him in the streets around Ramkhamhaeng. He fucking paying stuff with Satan, for his food. I pay for his food, whatever, because he's my homeboy, right? But this is the example I'm talking about. You don't need to be taught okay, everybody said that nowadays common sense is luxury. But this is the situation, right? He had no job. So he was broke, he kept borrowing money. But even at that time, he was running a tab in a little drinking area around the Ramkhamhaeng, around ABAC. Once again, he doesn't have any. He's renting a 2,000 baht per month, small room, laying down it's a it's a little space for him to have a roof over his head. Had no job, barely eats, and yet he's drinking 3-4 times a week.
Yeah, do you think people feel comfortable in that sorrow zone because they want other people to feel sorrow for themselves, and then
I don't even know. I mean, yes,
and then they just want to forget?
Right. Okay. So let's just say that's the case. They want to forget, right? Hey, man, listen. I'm reminding everybody, listeners out there, I am not playing like fucking, Mr. Right over here. No, this is a question that I've been trying to understand, for a long time. So now, dude gets a job for 27,000 baht as an English teacher. Guess where he spends the first 15,000 baht?
To pay back his tab.
Fuck no. He went to another club, bought his friends drinks and drugs.
Okay, that is... Well, again, there's always two sides, man. Maybe he just wants to share, give something back to the people that gave to him.
Right. And it's just, I mean, my understanding, maybe it was just the way I was raised.
No, I see your point. I'm just balling around ideas because it's. I totally agree. I would like to understand these kind of people, but it's hard. It's very, very hard to understand the complexity of the individual.
Exactly, which goes back to the whole, hey man, we're all individual. We can't expect everybody to be perfect, of course not. But like for me, it's like, yo, let me help you out by letting you know that this might not be the answer, because I was hurt because he was my homeboy. And we lost touch because of situations like that. I took him in. I was like, no, I'm going to train you a little bit. Maybe you can, train some people, some beginners or whatnot. But even then, he's like, yo, man, I can't see the money in this. I'm like, okay, then I don't know how to help you no more.
It's people need to learn to think ahead. I'm a huge fan of the game of chess. And that teaches you to think ahead. It's the same thing with combat sport. You need to think ahead a little bit. And some people are missing that. So you need to do small things, and you need to, that's why they always say you need to surround yourself with the right kind of people. And I can imagine if you're in that situation where you don't really have money, you live in a small apartment for 2,000 baht, which is, for the people who are listening from other places like the States or Europe, it's around 50 US, right? A little bit more, maybe 50, 60 US. So if you surround yourself in that area with these kind of people, then you will always be stuck there. And I have witnessed that as well. I was backpacking when I came to Thailand. I've been living in hostels, and there's a lot of backpackers who come over here and just try to stay here, but don't really have a plan how to accomplish that. And then they kind of get caught up. Okay, I owe my hostel for the room, I owe my hostel for the food, and they never really do anything to get out of there. And that's why I kind of distance myself from backpacking, because you realize if you stay in that circle, you will always be in that circle. And in that case, it's very, very important to have friends who not give up on you. Now, with that being said, I don't want to give you a bad feeling, because I had loads of these people that I couldn't just steal anymore, because that brings us back to the beginning of our subject. You cannot focus on too many things where you have to draw your line. You need to realize at some point that you are not here to grow another person, because if you would really like to grow up another person, you would have kids. Now, I don't know if you have kids or not, but you get the idea, you need to draw a line at certain point. And that's hard to do, man. And again, that's also what shapes you as a coach and as a person, because you have experience not only by yourself, but you also seen other people going down the rabbit hole.
Right. Well, like I said, one of the most beautiful things that ever happened in my life was the fact that I was able to learn how to let go without having to feel so bad about things. Just cutting people out. I mean, at first it might seem hard, because you think you had a relationship with this person, you think you had a good bond with this person, but matter of fact, it was more damaging than anything. So when you finally free yourself from that bond, at first you felt, oh shit, maybe
it's coming out of a bad relationship, man.
Yeah. Exactly, precisely what it is. It could be a relationship, it could be a friend, it could be but it's the same relationship. It's just like, look, I gotta let go, because I'm not even saying that you're doing something bad to me, but it's just that both of us together not going anywhere. So let's try separating.
Yeah, and sometimes people really need that point of, oh shit, now shit really hits the fan. Because you can talk and talk and talk, and people will take you for granted, and they will see, okay, he's always there, he gets angry, but at the end of the day, he's gonna give me my money for my beer and for my food. You need to cut the line at some point, and maybe that is the final and most important lesson that you can give to a person. Maybe not right away, but maybe in a week, in a month, or in a year. You never know, man, but... That's what do they say? People who help other people, or people who are truly happy, make other people happy. Maybe not today or tomorrow, but in several years. And that is what I always say when people ask me, why do you become a photographer? It's because I want to leave something behind for... Now, I make photography a big deal. It's really not, but for humanity, you know. For me, it's I'm not a big writer, I'm not a big speaker, but I'm good at photography. So I want, when I go into a subject with my photography, I want to bring the culture or what the subject is about to the next generation. And that because I have to come back here to the boxing gym a little bit. We drifted off here, which I, by the way, love. But you said before, 45 minutes to an hour should be enough, roughly. And we already been recording for an hour. Time goes fast.
It's been an hour already?
It's been an hour already, man. Time goes fast.
Hey, man, time flies when you're having fun, right? I mean,
exactly.
I'm talking to the man right now. You're undeniably keeping my attention straight. And, I don't mind, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's my day off. I ain't got nothing to do. I'm trying to, like, rest up right now. Tomorrow's another big day. It's leg day tomorrow, brother. So let me rest. You know what I'm saying?
I don't let you rest at all. We're podcasting hard here. But you see, now you brought me off my subject. I was going to circle around and bring it back to the boxing gym. We were talking. What were we talking about? We're talking about cutting off and moving on and teaching them a lesson. Oh yeah, leaving something behind.
Leaving something behind, yes.
Your gym. What is the legacy? What is the vision you have of your gym?
You know, I've always asked myself that question too. I mean, I think boxing, in a sense, kind of gave me that answer in so many ways. I don't want to specify boxing for me as as something that I would leave as a legacy, but more of a, how do I put this? Okay, so in a simplified way, whenever I talk, I always kind of like give examples to back to my seminars, because these are the times that I figured out what to say the best. So say, for example, right, you come to me, or there's me and there's person B. This guy comes to person B, and he wants to train boxing, and person B is not, he's okay, well, whatever. He's not. He basically, he's not making an impact on the client. Now he comes to me. I'm like, look, man, I'm gonna give it to you straight. This is what we need to do. This to do, blah 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 blah. And he appreciates and whatnot. I said, you don't ever want to be that person that when the client is talking to their friends and they ask him, hey, have you trained boxing? Oh yeah, I've trained with what's his name? That dude from You don't ever want to be that. You want to be like, hey, man, I trained with Coach JR from Lionshead Boxing Academy. The reason why he remembers your name is because you gave him something, even from the first impression, something to look forward to, and you signed your name on his memory.
Dude, you make me feel so freaking bad, because I suck at names. The only reason why I have my passport is so I can remember my own name. And dude, I'm not joking.
Man, I'm not good with numbers. The phone numbers, fuck all that. But hey, no, listen. My biggest point in that is like, look, the idea is that it doesn't even matter. Forget the name. Oh, this dude with the beard and the tattoos.
No, but seriously, man, you really, by saying you made me feel bad. It's for the first time somebody said something which made me realize, shit, I should be able to learn a freaking name. That is.
You know what? My mom told me there's this millionaire in the Philippines. I forgot what his last name was. One of the most richest families in the Philippines is Zobels, the Zobels.
Okay.
Right? And the grandfather wasn't rich before. He was what he did was he was the middleman of of the richer guys. But what he was good at, every time he got introduced, he remembers the first name and the last name and what they do.
God damn it. I need to start doing that. That's so smart. No, but that's fucking smart, man. That's why I call the podcast Surrounded by Details, because you need to pay attention to the details. Please keep on
exactly
moving.
Right.
Yeah.
So he goes around, and every time he see the same block of people, he's like, "Hi, I'm Mr. Frederick Fernandez, CEO of this and that. It's good to see you again. How is your company doing with the stocks? I heard it was this. I heard it was that." Boom. That's how he always introduced himself.
Yeah, that is crazy. And that reminds me of Victor Chewy once again, and Rich Franklin, to name him in the same breath. I send out newsletters, and I do a bunch of different shit with my podcast, with my photography and shirts and merchandise. And one person I always hear back from is Victor Chewy. No matter how busy that guy is, he always has the time to throw over email and just say, "Hey, nice grind," or "Good to hear from you." It's amazing. That's such an important thing. Now I do that with other things, but I should do that a little bit more with persons and individuals. But it's very important, man, to create habits and to keep them.
Right. Mm-hmm. And going back to your original topic about the legacy part, right?
Yeah.
You know, I'm a type of guy that, as much as I like planning what I have, what I'll do or what I want to achieve in the future, I'm a big fan of celebrating my everyday victories. Now, when I say that, it means
celebrating at night with your little confetti and unicorn thoughts.
Oh, fuck yeah, I got the popper balloons. I got champagne popping, man. I'm doing the whole 9 yards, yo. But my point is that, look, it's always about, making an impact to somebody's life on a daily basis. Because for me, I've always, you have the kind of people who's result oriented. I don't know what you call the other, the opposite of that, but the opposite of that is me. I enjoy the thick process behind every achievement, behind every goal, behind every success. I like, say for I had this dude before. He was 165 kilos.
Yeah.
Right? Smoke, drank, just absolutely huge. He was unhealthy. Now he's 122 after 2 years. Still training even without me. So the process of that is, look, you don't just tell somebody, lift that shit, run 5 laps, do 1 round. No, you got to touch people's heart. I know I sound melodramatic right now, but you got to touch people's hearts.
Yeah, that's true.
Because when somebody goes to you, our jobs, I say this too. I don't even charge that much. Okay, it might, but I've been doing this for 8 years. You are not just paying me just to train you. I consider your payment as a part of you trusting me in your development, in your wellness development. I'm not, if I paid somebody, say for example, you my trainer, and I paid you, and you're just like, just do your job, whatever. That relationship is never gonna come. There'll be no spark that'll be ignited, because remember, this guy is, hey man, shout outs to Corn. I'm just gonna say his name. Shout outs to Corn. That's my man right there. He has inspired me too by doing what he's doing. And I got, if I had 3 thumbs up, it's all up right now, brother. But this guy has been a crazy inspiration in the gym and to a lot of his peers. And but we talked. We had people conversations. It doesn't matter if it's the most funniest, most serious, but I tell him, look, it's not just about you. You have to realize that you're affecting a lot of people around you by doing this. And in doing so, now people looking at you as an example. That particular talk that night, I remember that night very clearly. He had a little spark in his eyes. And that's the day after was the first time he ever put up a video of himself working out and say, look, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing now. it's getting better, this, that, and the third.
Mm.
Remember, he was very, very shy before. One point, you know, and then I seen him like he went from like a 4XL to a triple XL to a double XL. And one day he comes to me and he said, Coach, I went shopping down at Under Armour and I bought myself my first XL shirt.
Boom.
Man.
That is huge success.
My heart sank. I know it might not sink, but you got to see it from his perspective. This dude,
for him, it's a big step, man. For him, that was everything. It was his self-confidence. It's how he sees the world. It's how he walks through the world. For him, it was everything. And that you said before, you don't want to sound cliche or getting too cheesy, but I think it's exactly these moments that keep you doing what you do. Not only for him, but also for you.
It's exactly what it is. I see a person, you know, drained from work, having problems, whatever, but if I can be a small part of why they have a reason to smile after the 1 hour session, so be it. So be it. I'm not sinking myself into their lives. No, but I have an hour with them. Does it hurt for anybody, for a coach or for me to just say, look, man, it's all gonna be okay. You know what? Let's get this four rounds in. I'm gonna make you feel like you're fucking Muhammad Ali, and we're gonna walk out of here feeling fresh and feeling okay.
Yeah, it's very inspiring to hear these stories. I mean, let's be honest here. I talked to a bunch of people, but it's very interesting to hear the passion and the you can say obsession, man. Let's be honest here. It's an obsession that you have, but in a positive way, and with that comes passion. I find it very inspiring to see where you get frustrated and where you find your small. Your small pieces where you can hold on to do what you do, and the inspiration, and that the inspiration in this case is a person that you inspired. So basically, you inspired yourself.
Yeah, man. I think you know, you just gotta. I think people just need, you know, going back to that one of the conversations that we had earlier about people losing control. I think a lot of us, even me, man. I still lose it once in a while. I'm only human, but I think we need to tap back in to the things that, you know, makes us happy. Okay, you know what? I'll tell you something crazy. So there's days when I'm just absolutely out of it. Like I'm ready to shut Lionset down. I'm ready to fucking take the accounts off, like Instagram, whatever. I'm done with it. So in my head, I'm like, yo, I'm on the edge. I'm like, all the little gravels on the edge of that mountain is cracking down and I'm about to fall. But you know what? You need to find something that will make you step back. And matter of fact, turn the switches back on. And this is crazy. Most people will think I'm crazy with this shit, but to a lot of grown people, you know what? Let's read a book. Let's watch, you know, whatever. Let's go out for a run. I have this thing that I do, and most people will laugh at me and get me for this shit. I used to watch an anime, a Japanese anime before. It was called Voltus 5.
Okay, I'm not into anime. If you would have said Dragon Balls, I could have understood.
Okay, yeah.
But everything else to me is just what?
Right. So I'll send you a link of that because there's an intro song in that anime. And it's been stuck in my head ever since I was a kid. And the cool thing is, every time I hear that song, as a kid, I remember I used to get up from the floor where I was sitting, and I start just doing the robotic stuff, and I always felt happy.
Yeah, man, I know exactly what you talk about.
Jumping up and down. People think I listen to. I'm a big hip hop head. I'm a big music head, but sometimes it just don't cut it. You gotta go deeper.
Yeah, man, music is what feeling sounds like, and that's why a lot of people who are into their thing. That's why I kind of drifted out of the b-boy scene, because the breaking scene around the world, man, they're all about we are bringing together different cultures, and we are open-minded, but at the same time But dude, at the same time they wear T-shirts that says b-boy or die. Now, with that being said, is you are so open-minded, as you just said, but at the same time you say, I'm going to be a b-boy, or you can just go and die. That's not open-minded to me. And what I'm trying to say with that is that a lot of people who have a passion for certain things, and I'm guilty of that for sure, with photography and podcasting, they stick in their tunnel. You know what I mean? And once in a while, man, yesterday, I have absolutely no problem about talking about this. I was listening to Honey Honey. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that. It's kind of American country rock, but really deeply emotional with a rough voice. Right. And man, I have no problem drifting off to these kind of music things, especially in the morning when I go to the park or whatever. I need to motivate myself and I listen to stupid fucking YouTube motivational songs. Not because I fucking like them, but that's what my brain needs in order to get inspired. And then you just fucking put it in there and do it. There's a lot of people out there who always know, man, I only listen to hardcore rap and battle music and shit. No, you fucking nut. You listen to Britney Spears and all this kind of shit, just like everybody else does. That's why pop music is fucking pop music, because it's popular. Everybody has their 5 minutes.
Dude, your topic right now is something, it's fucking, this is crazy, yo. I was chilling by the pool earlier, and I was like, what could be the topics that we're going to go through today and whatnot? And I know, and I was like, like an old hip-hop head, a b-boy. And I was like, we're going to trip on that topic somehow, some way. And it just fucking happened.
I could talk about music all day long.
Straight fucking bullseye in my head. I'm like, I was just going to tell you, you know what? You made the biggest point right now. I feel a lot of young dudes, because they don't listen to a certain genre of music, they feel they're going to get judged by not being tough, classy, whatever, that they want to they want to play as far as their character is concerned.
Yeah,
man.
Or
if I don't listen to like hardcore fucking hip hop or gangster music, I'm never going to be gangster. Or it becomes a part of them.
Yeah, man, it's a very, that brings us back to being open-minded. You need to be open-minded no matter what you do. And I know exactly, it's very hard to do when you have something that you're very passionate about. As I mentioned before, I'm guilty of it as well. But it's about these small moments where you are self-aware of yourself and say, wait a second, that's not really what I want to listen to. I want to fucking listen to this or to that. You know what I mean? It's just, you need...
It feels good, you know?
Yeah, you need to let fucking go and just let it go, or just fucking YouTube surf and put autoplay on and go with whatever you want. Something I cannot accept though is when I sit in the freaking car and the damn radio is playing the cheesy fucking music over and over again, and I'm sitting in a Bangkok traffic jam for 2 hours. That is absolutely no-go. The only thing that comes to mind there is Metal in Flames.
You still gotta draw the lines at some point, right?
Yeah.
But like, I feel that I've always been a big musical. I mean, ever since I was young, my dad always turned on, like, say, Earth, Wind and Fire, the Blues Brothers, the Funk Brothers. Who else? Chicago.
What are you talking about? Dude, I need to listen to Blues Brothers tonight. I was actually gonna rewatch the movies not long ago, and I never did. I need to do that, man. Rolling Stones, by the way.
So my musical background is quite good in a sense, because I was exposed to this. I mean, the 70s funk, Bill Withers, Louis Armstrong. So I was all that. And then it stopped for a while, because I was like, okay, I know how much I found myself, loving hip hop, or the entity around it. But now I'm just like, yo, man, I mean, I just need that feel-good music. I don't care what genre it is. I really don't.
Yeah.
Like, I hear something, I'm like, yo, who's that? Or he's saying or she's saying something good. I don't care if it's Megan Tenor doing All About That Bass. I don't care if it's Herbie Hancock playing the piano. It don't matter now. For me now, look, I sit down, I hear something good. Yo, you don't judge me for my music, man. I just want to feel good about
Yeah, that's
about what I'm listening
yeah,
to.
you need to separate from these moments where you just want to feel good and just want to put something on, and when you really want to listen to music, because that seems to me something that people do not often enough. And as I mentioned to you earlier, I come from the b-boy world and I have loads of DJ friends, and shout out to DJ Lucas Benjamin, to DJ Panic, Red Light Radio, Wicked Jazz Sounds from
Right, right.
Netherlands. Dude, if you ever want to have good music and you don't know what to listen to, tune into Red Light Radio, because it's in the red light district of Amsterdam, and you see hooker window, hooker window, hooker window, radio window.
Right, right.
They are right there, and they play everything from funk to jazz to soul to whatever you want. And
That's
just
crazy.
turn it on and sit down and really listen to music, because sometimes you need to do that. And yeah, music is basically like a really good friend. A good friend of mine, we talk maybe once a year, maybe twice a year, and sometimes we even have those drunk calls where we just, hey dude, you like a brother to me, you know. But they are always there, and it's the same with music. You don't need to listen to it constantly, because before I was like, oh, life without music, I would die. But now I have periods where I don't listen to music for a day or two, or maybe even a week. Now that doesn't happen too often, but it comes back again. Give something the chance to miss you, and the other way around. Give yourself a chance to miss something, and just be open-minded and go with whatever you feel for, man. Don't be afraid of be yourself, because deep inside, man, we all a little girl sometimes. That's what we are.
Hey, man.
Especially MMA fighters.
Amen to that. You know what? Fuck everybody else. Amen to that. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, it's just I think people has judged themselves too much. That's why they're so stressed. They can't let go. You know what, man? Like I said, y'all can call me Samantha if that makes you happy. I'm cool with it. But I know myself. I know what I want. I know what makes me happy. You know, I'm not a Fortune 500 dude. But at the end of the day, like, I go to sleep knowing that I've done my part in the society. Maybe not so much of a Mr. Goodwill, but to whoever I make contact with, I have a certain responsibility that I need to perform on a daily basis, and that for me sometimes is more than enough. Because I'm like, look, I can't help the whole world, so let me help myself so I can help others, and that's a win-win situation.
Boom. And that is, for me, in my opinion, a perfect ending to this lovely conversation, because exactly as you say, man, you cannot save the whole world. And instead of trying to clean other people's door, you need to start with your own door. And once that is clean, you can go to the next house. And even if it's just by inspiring your neighbors to clean their fucking door because they saw you cleaning your door in the middle of the rain, that is what life is all about. Always try to be the best version of yourself. JR, as I said, it is slowly time to bring this to an end, and I don't know, I want to know, and I'm sure my audience want to know as well, where can we find you on social media, and what is coming up next for your gym and for yourself?
All right, so check it out, man. Social media, you can find us on Facebook. Just type Lion's Head Boxing. We got a good Facebook page. Hey, remember, I'm not doing that. That's social media. That's my wifey right there.
Yeah, shout out to your wife, by the way, for the great photo work and for being a Nikon user. Are you still there? No, he just hung up. We're gonna call him back. I think in all the excitement, we lost the connection here at the end. We're gonna call him up again to get all this social media.
Hello?
Hello, did you get excited or what?
No. I don't know what happened. It just cut off.
I don't know what happened. You just went. Man, social media. Shout out to your wife. She's doing all the social media work. Great photos.
Exactly, and a whole lot more. She's the brains behind the system, man. Like, if it wasn't for her, Lion's Head would not be up like this. Believe it or not, she's the engine to what I do. You know, I'm not just saying that because I'm a guy who respects his girl, but she really is a lot of, you know, what Lion's Head is now. But going back on the social media, check us out on Instagram, Lion's Head Boxing. It's all there, pictures, videos. My personal page at BKK Lion. You know, hit me up. I'll let you know more about Lion's Head Boxing. We are located at Ram Kam Road down in Bangkok City. That's what it is.
And not to forget your website, lionsheadboxing.com.
That's right.
Lionsheadboxing.com. As always, for the people who are listening on iTunes or Podbean later on and didn't have the chance to tune in live, as always, we put all the information below in the description. So if you're listening over there where you can download all our episodes for free, make sure to switch over to YouTube and check out all the links. You will be able to get in touch with JR there and learn some boxing and life lessons in general. JR, it has been a pleasure. I hope it hasn't been the last time, and I can't wait to see the next King of the Pride event at your Lion's Head boxing gym.
You made my first podcast something to remember, and I will definitely treasure this moment, my man. I appreciate it, Steve. You know, we don't see each other that much, but hey, man, you're the man for these kind of stuff, and you know, much props and much respect to what you do on a daily basis.
Thank you so much. And with that being said, we are just like music and good friends. We always need to communicate. It's about the times when we actually do. Boom! Ladies and gentlemen, the man himself, JR Crisologo. Thank you so much for today, brother.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Have a good one.
All right, peace.
Boom! What a conversation. That escalated quite quickly there. At the beginning he said he wants to record around 45 minutes, 60 minutes. And I said, okay. But of course, as an experienced podcaster, I know that time can fly by real quick. And I really enjoyed this conversation. We drifted off. We gave our opinions. If you don't like them, you don't need to listen to them. If you do, then please make sure to interact with us. Make sure to leave us a comment, to give us a like, to give us a dislike. It doesn't matter as long as you actually have an opinion and know why you have that opinion. Because too many people have an opinion without actually knowing why they think the way they do. However, that was not the last podcast for this week. We will be back on Friday morning, actually, 9 a.m. I'm going to talk about the Secret War of Laos, a former photo and video project of a friend of mine called Antoine Chirard. You might know him from previous episodes. We had him on somewhere around episode 50, I think. A cool dude. He's about to come back to Southeast Asia in August and September. Hopefully, I will be able to take him all the way to Myanmar and show him the interesting world of Lethway. So I'm going to talk about that. And why am I going to talk about that? Because we did this project in 2014, never really got it published. And then I thought, hey, why do I not invite the man himself, Mr. Grant Evans from the Hong Kong University, to talk about this, because he's an expert in this subject. And unfortunately, I had to find out that he passed away only a few months after we did the interview with him and we did the whole video. So I'm actually looking forward to share you guys my story of our story of the Secret War of Laos, because educate yourself before you entertain yourself, and too many people backpack and travel through Laos without actually knowing the history of this beautiful country. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. Please don't forget to subscribe. You can find us on iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, SoundCloud, where you have to look for Surrounded by Details podcast. And of course, I am also available for you on social media such as Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And smart as I am, I actually changed everything and made it all to one name, so you only have to look for Steve Bonhage, STEVBONHAGE. If you're not a social media person, you can also find me on the World Wide Web, www.stevebonhage.com. Steve, as always, without a E. And what a perfect track to finish this podcast. Be awesome, stay awesome, do something awesome, and smile at somebody you don't know, you little fuck. See you on Friday.